Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, but I did have a really fun idea for today's video. But today I wanted to assign all the zodiac signs a very popular perfume. I'm by no means like an astrologer, but honestly, like, is anyone really? Because like it's like a pseudoscience, so like it's not even like real, but like
just like for funsies, you know what I mean?
I'm not like super like deep into it, but like I like to kind of learn about astrology every now and then. But with that, if I do say anything mean about your zodiac sign, don't take it personally. I probably mean it, but you're still loved. These are all gonna be really mainstream popular perfumes, so there's a good chance you've heard of like everything on this list. I might make another video down the line with some more niche fragrances, so that'll be more like a recommendation for each zodiac type, but for this one it's just what perfume I think is most representative of the characteristics for each of the horoscopes. Starting off with Aries. Aries is a fire sign. In my experience, it's always been very intense. Like I feel like all fire signs are kind of like that. So the perfume that I assigned to Aries was Angel by Mugler. Reasoning behind this is that Aries tend to be very unfiltered. They can have really short tempers. They can be aggressive and competitive. If you're an Aries and you're totally the opposite of this. Honestly, like I know a ton of Aries who like aren't not like this at all, but just like from what I'm collecting from the internet, this is what we're going with. They definitely get bored very easily, and I feel like I just listed like a bunch of like bad traits, but they're also very determined, very energetic, they're driven, and they really embrace freedom. So the reason why I chose Mugler for Aries is because I feel like Mugler is just kind of like unfiltered, totally unafraid of just like having extremely powerful, potent, and unique perfumes. Angel in particular, I think is just such a classic, super well loved as well as well hated, but it's almost kind of infamous for just being super sweet with like this really unique kind of dirty patchouli. People who do like Angel, totally giving Aries energy, I feel like, because you don't care what people think, and that is probably a good thing. Next up on the list, we have Taurus, and the perfume that I picked for this zodiac is Versace's Crystal Noir. So Tauruses are very grounded, and I feel like people who like Versace Crystal Noir are super like die-hard lovers of the fragrance, which I totally understand because I myself also really like it. But aside from that, Versace Crystal Noir it's a very like relaxing scent to me, but at the same time it's also kind of dark and mysterious. Many people would consider it to be sexy. Honestly, I don't really see it that way because it smells a little bit more spa-like to me. But for Tauruses, they're easygoing, they're definitely a people person, they really like to be in the presence of others. They're calm, but they're also very receptive to physical touch, which I think is kind of where the sexy part comes into play, because Crystal Noir is widely regarded as being like extremely like date night friendly, so I thought this was pretty fitting. Tauruses can be stubborn, and they don't just like not take criticism well, but sometimes they straight up just like ignore it, which honestly, respect. Like I wish I could do that. I personally am super, oh my god, I do not take criticism well, and you will see why later once we get to mine. But yeah, I feel like that unapologetic energy is totally Crystal Noir. So next up, we have Gemini. This is an air sign, and I feel like Geminis have always been super hit or miss for me. I feel like they have a reputation of having a lot of sides to them. The constellation is like the twins, so it's kind of like two faces. So like I don't want to say two-faced because that sounds like really mean, but also sometimes
I do be encountering some Geminis.
Very humorous, they're charismatic, they're a very widely appealing type of person. They know how to make people like them, and even though sometimes they can come off as more youthful, they're actually very intelligent and they understand how people function. I don't know how I got so far in without telling you what perfume I picked for Geminis, but the one I picked is Baccarat Rouge 540 by MFK. I guess my kind of rationale behind this one is that it is just so mass appealing. Like so many people love Baccarat Rouge, but it is super frequently compared to Cloud by Ariana Grande, which I guess is a more, youthful variant. So that kind of reflects like the youthful outer appearance, but a very deep level of complexity inside. Baccarat Rouge is a total attention grabber. It has insane projection, and I feel like that is totally Gemini. The next zodiac is Cancer. Cancer is honestly one of my favorites. The perfume that I picked for this one is Cloud by Ariana Grande. It's funny that it's like right after Baccarat Rouge. That like wasn't really intentional at all. But Cancers are super deeply emotional people. And like by that, I don't mean like super dramatic or like they cry a lot. Like no, they are very sensitive and they value the emotional aspects of life very, very deeply. They are very caring and just very, very likable. And I guess another thing behind this is that Cancer is the horoscope of Ariana Grande. So I just like felt like I had to give Cancer an Ariana Grande fragrance. That's why I went with Cloud. I feel like Cloud is super comforting. It's so delicious, but I also still feel like it has a level of complexity and maturity and just, I guess, beauty that you wouldn't otherwise expect on this surface. And I think it's also just such a good reflection of Ariana Grande. Next up, we have Leo. So the perfume that I assigned to Leo is Black Opium by Yves Saint Laurent. Okay, I'm gonna have to be honest. I think I would have to say Leo is my least favorite zodiac. It is a fire sign, and I think that is so accurate. I think Leos are very fiery. They are super extroverted, really, really outgoing, but they can also be loud, kind of vain. In my experience, I feel like all the Leos that I knew were like theater kids. Nothing against them, but it's just, they're very, I feel like, performative. And for me personally, someone who's a lot more introverted, it is kind of just too much to handle. What perfume is too much to handle for me? That would definitely be Black Opium. I have really never liked this fragrance. It's just, the things I really like sweet fragrances, but Black Opium has just been too much. Like it's too black licorice coffee, like just very overbearing, kind of like Leos where their positive traits can kind of overflow and then it becomes not such a good thing. They love being the center of attention, and I feel like Black Opium is a perfume that loves to be the center of attention as well. Next up is Virgo, and the fragrance that I have picked out for this one is Glossier's You. I have a lot of good things to say about Virgos, and I swear I'm not biased just because, okay, maybe I'm like a little bit biased, but I've always loved Virgos, just like other Virgos. They are so deeply, deeply intelligent and very emotionally perceptive. They're typically pretty introverted, but they have just such a deep level of empathy that I think is really unique to them. Virgos can be judgmental. They are very much perfectionists. And as I was mentioning earlier, they do not take criticism well. And that is totally me. Virgos are very, very emotionally sensitive people, kind of similar to Cancer, which is why I love Cancer so much. So I just wanted to pick a perfume that I felt was super, super sensitive, something that's not at all loud, but very clean and skin-like, something that I felt like just really embodies that sense of empathy and spatial awareness and perfectionism. So something super, super clean, and I feel like that musky cleanness of Glossier You is just totally fitting. Really has that clean girl aesthetic, and I think that matches Virgo really well. Moving on, we have Libra, and the perfume I chose for this one is Libra by Yves Saint Laurent. It's not just because of the name. I did have some rationale. Libras can be very extroverted or introverted. They are emotionally intelligent, but they also really don't like being alone. And so I feel like Libra and Libra Intense, which also, the Intense version is also included in this because it's also super, super popular. But I feel like it starts off super, super strong and rich and confident and like boss bitch, you know what I mean? But then it dries down into this just super soft and beautiful, sophisticated vanilla. Libra has just always had this level of like luxury to it. I think it's the ambergris note, but it really just gives it like a slight, almost cologne-like touch, but like it doesn't make it overly masculine. I think it adds to just like the deep complexity of the scent profile. It is definitely a fragrance that projects, and it is one that kind of is not overwhelming, but it does demand attention, kind of like Libras. Most of all, Libras are Libras. And then we have Scorpio. Scorpios, I don't know if it's just me, but I have always felt like Scorpios have had the reputation of being very, very... Okay, I was gonna use a different word, but I think that might not be the best. Okay, I'm just gonna say like romantic. They are very, I guess, kind of like promiscuous. They're very, like, touch is their love language. For that reason, I wanted to pick a perfume that is widely seen as being super, 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 super super, super sexy, even though I personally don't see it that way. But the perfume I chose was Carolina Herrera's Good Girl. Super popular perfume. A lot of people love it. It is just a really famous gourmand that people think is so seductive. And yeah, Scorpios are kind of mysterious. They have a little bit of edge to them. They're complex, but they also know what they want. And I think Good Girl is totally a perfume that encompasses that. So for Sagittarius, the perfume that I chose was Valentino's Born in Roma. I think that Sagittariuses are super lively, not really in the same way as a Leo or an Aries, I would say, but they are all fire signs. Sagittariuses are just very, very high energy, but kind of different from Aries and Leo is that they're super, super friendly. They're very honest and down to earth, above all kind and very curious people. So I picked Valentino's Born in Roma because I feel like it is such a widely loved scent. Even though I personally have never really understood the hype, it's not really my personal favorite, but everyone else seems to absolutely adore it. It is just this very gourmand, woody jasmine kind of scent. Super, super woody. Almost has a little bit of spice to it, but it is like Sagittarius's, very friendly in that everyone kind of enjoys them. It's strongly projecting, and it is just a total date night kind of with other people type of fragrance, just like Sagittariuses are typically always around other people as they are very extroverted. Following that, we have Capricorn, and Capricorns are known to be very mature and they are emotionally complex, so it takes a while to really warm up to a Capricorn. They are really responsible, but I think all of that makes them sound like a more boring sign. But in my personal experience, my best friend is honestly kind of the opposite of that, and I think that kind of affected my choice for this one. Funniest person I know has an energy that no one else has, so I wanted to pick a perfume that reflected that, and so my choice with that was Flower Bomb by Viktor and Rolf. I kind of wanted to find a middle ground between super energetic and really funny, but also like mature and calm and emotional. And I feel like Flower Bomb is a fragrance that I have grown to love so much because it is both kind of sophisticated, totally suitable for nighttime wear, date night. I would honestly wear it to like a formal event, but it's also very, very sweet. It's very gourmand to me. Occasionally I will see it being marketed as like a floral gourmand, so it has that aspect of excitement and energy and charisma. And Capricorns are not people that absolutely need attention, but they always end up getting attention just because of how charismatic they are. And I feel like, kind of like Flower Bomb, it's not a super loud fragrance, but it smells so beautiful and people will notice it regardless. On to our final two, we have Aquarius, and the fragrance that I picked for Aquarius is Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue. I think Aquariuses are more extroverted than introverted, but above all, they're very pragmatic. They value academics, they're hardworking. Honestly, when I was coming up with a fragrance for Aquarius, I was kind of just paying attention to Light Blue's bottle. I don't know why, I just feel like that bottle really fits Aquarius. Kind of just like light blue kind of theme going on, but also it's kind of has a very clean aesthetic, but it's also like really fresh and summery and citrusy, which I don't know why I personally just associate with Aquarius's intelligence and work ethic. And last but not least, we have Pisces. And the perfume that I picked for this one is Perfect by Marc Jacobs. And that is because if you're a Pisces, I think you're perfect. I really do love Pisces. In my experience, they have been some of the kindest people I know, and just I so deeply enjoy being around them. They are extremely creative and imaginative and insecure, but also very empathetic of other people. And I feel like Marc Jacobs Perfect is kind of a fragrance that really reminds me of that. It is clean and comforting and just reminds me of someone who is very good to be around. Not necessarily super outgoing or hilarious, but just very naturally charismatic with the way they see the world and how they treat others and how creative and imaginative they are. We just went through all 12 zodiac signs. Oh my god, that was kind of a lot, and I feel like there are a few zodiacs that I shat on a little more than others, like Leos and Aries in particular. So if you are one of those, don't worry, you're still, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know what your sign is, and if you think the perfume that I assigned you was either 1, representative of your kind of personality type, or 2, a fragrance that you really like or dislike. I am curious to know, because honestly, this entire list was just based on people that I know, my opinion, kind of some like light research on like general zodiac characteristics, even though again, it's all just like a pseudoscience. Let me know what your sign is. I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.